Well, good morning, everybody. John with you, just finishing up my coffee here, my second cup. And coming to you today with a little different video. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. And this will be in two parts. This is part one. One of the channels that I subscribe to and watch is Leela's Lovely Life. And she does a variety of things, kind of frugal living videos and wax and candle stuff like what I do, and also challenges. Like this year she's doing different challenges every month, and she describes what they are and whether she meets them or not. Well, one of the things, and I'll link her channel below, Leela's Lovely Life, so you can check it out if you'd like to. One of the things she was doing on one of her monthly challenges was reading an hour every month, and I have tons of books and I love to read, but the idea of reading 1 hour every day was kind of appealing. So especially now, we have a lot of time. But I was thinking I would do that. So I didn't necessarily meet it, every day, but I did read a lot. And I finished 4 books kind of recently. So I'll talk about the first 2 today. Just reviews on what I've been reading. And I do have different tastes, and sometimes I like historical novels, and I like a lot of religious and metaphysical writings, and I enjoy like coffee table books with great pictures too, but you still read them. Anyway, that's what we're going to try, and we'll see how it goes, okay? Medical Curiosities, a miscellany of medical oddities, horrors, and humors, compiled and edited by Robert M. Youngston, Carroll and Graf Publishers, Incorporated, New York, 1997. I should mention also, when I do these reviews, it's also quick reviews, and I also want to make it more personal and talk about what I thought about it, or things that made me come up or think about or whatever that are related. Anyway, so Medical Curiosities, this book, kind of self-explanatory. It's just, some of it's very amusing, and funny, and some of it's just like really painful to read and frightening and like, but it's about all sorts of things. Ancient cures, or just older medicines and older treatments for things, and how some of them were wrong and what they actually did. And also humorous, anecdotes from doctors' offices about people and various sort of mental conditions and physical conditions. And it's really interesting. And I'll tell you, as far as medical conditions go, what I will share also personally, that I learned during this month when I was reading, at least trying to read at least an hour every day, was that I have multiple sclerosis, which you may or may not know, and I'm not terribly symptomatic, fortunately. And I follow a YouTube channel, Life of Seb, who has more severe symptoms than I do, but something he brought up, and it was like when a lightning bolt goes off over your head. Somebody says something and you go, whoa. He said for him it was something new that he's been experiencing, which is like reading and sort of all of a sudden not understanding what you're reading or looking at, as being kind of a symptom of that. And I definitely experienced that on a regular basis, but I never really thought of it being related to MS. And I'm like, oh, that's totally it. Because I will read for a long time, and then at a certain point I'll be reading, and I'll realize that I'm going through the pages, and I'm, seeing the words and la la la, and I'll realize maybe for the past 3 or 4 pages I have not understood a single thing. Like it's just gibberish. Like I'm going, wait a minute, what am I even reading about? Like, and you have to just stop and put it down and go do something else. But yeah, that definitely happens with me. When I read, after a while, I'll reach a point where all of a sudden I'll realize I'm reading, but I'm not. I don't understand what I'm reading at all. I can see the words, but anyway, this is a enjoyable book. It was fun. I liked it. The Lost Civilization of Lemuria: The Rise and Fall of the World's Oldest Culture. Frank Joseph, Bear and Company, Rochester, Vermont, 2006. So yeah, I definitely, I'm an eclectic person. I love to read uh, some conspiracy theory things, but just a lot of weird metaphysical stuff and things like that. I just enjoy it. Whatever, make of it what you will. Uh, Lemuria, not that many people seem to know that much about Lemuria. Everybody knows about Atlantis. Even here in Hawaii, it's like people know about Atlantis, but you say Lemuria and most people don't know what you're talking about. I had already been familiar with Lemuria, so this book was kind of interesting in that, he talks a lot about all the civilizations that are rimming the Pacific that have certain similarities in terms of their language, in terms of the Mu, which is the root name, or he thinks the original name of the continent or larger landmass that used to be in the Pacific in ancient prehistory we're talking, antediluvium or pre-diluvium, whatever it is, before the flood. Um, and apparently two in his ideas that two things happened. Two, one was like a gradual rise in the water, kind of like what we're experiencing with climate change or whatever, how sea levels are rising, which might be cyclic, and in the ancient time that happened. So a lot of the people, the Mu people, Lemurians, started going out to other places, other continents and whatnot, and then a cataclysmic event, the flood. He thinks maybe like part of an asteroid hit the Earth or something, that all over the world, water went crazy and rains and flooding, and Lemuria just was gone, more or less, except for the little islands in the Pacific that are kind of remaining in the Indian Ocean. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but it's an interesting book, and he talks about places that, yeah, where it makes a lot of sense. Lemurians were basically Caucasian people, a lot of redheads. Um, and that does show up, I will say, in a lot of the Polynesian cultures. I know here in Hawaii they call it ehu. There are native Hawaiians every so often that will turn up with a red hair and much fairer skin that is not attributed to their actual ethnic background or whatever. But anyway, long story short, interesting book. Do I believe there was a continent of Lemuria? I mean, there could have been. Yeah, I mean, there are certain similarities in some of the languages and carvings and the things that are done in the Pacific Islands, like on Easter Island. In Micronesia, there's places. In the Ryukyu Islands in Japan, there's like the way the Incans did stonework, without any mortar or whatever. There are some things like that in the Pacific that the island people themselves claim to have not done and don't know anything about it, and say other people from somewhere did it. Mm, you know. Long story short, uh, yeah, I mean, there could have been maybe not a continent, but a civilization, right? Yeah, could be. Why not? Okay, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed that. Subscribe if you want to see more. Press the like button, and let me know if you've read any of these books or anything about reading books that you want to comment on. And also check out Leela's Lovely Life, which I will link below. So have a good week, you guys. We'll talk to you later.